Hello again, whiskey friends. Oh, thanks for joining today, everybody. Really appreciate you being here for another whiskey review. If this is your first time here, hey, hang around, see how we do reviews here. We really like to break things down, get to numbers later on, and rank these whiskeys. And today's pour is quite unique. I know this one isn't big, but this is something that you've never heard of and may actually be my biggest surprise of the year for how much I like it. I think it's this, and it would be the Magi blended rye. It'd be one of those two. So why don't you stick around, hear about this brand I'm about to talk about, and maybe you are in the area and can get your hands on it. If not, you'll learn about something new, and maybe you can get a sample from a whiskey friends that's in this area. Thanks for joining today, everybody. Let's kick off the show. All right. So the brand that we're actually going to talk about today is New Riff, though New Riff really isn't very visible on the label that I'm about to show in just a second. But New Riff does come out with special releases throughout the year. So I went to the distillery, picked up the latest special release, and lo and behold, there was something else on the shelf. Now, I have seen this over the years and I've seen people take pictures of it. I've never gotten my hands on one until now, nor did I know what it was if the mash bill was always what is I'm holding in my hand right now. And what we're going to be talking about today is a bottle called Silver Grove. So this is Silver Grove straight bourbon whiskey. This is barrel proof without filtration. It's aged 4 years and distilled, aged, bottled by New Riff Distilling Company. But then if I flip it around, proof wise too. I know I said it was barrel proof, but barrel proof means 113.5 proof, pretty typical for a New Riff product. What caught me off guard is the mash bill. The mash bill is 65% corn, 33% malted rye, 5% malted barley. So that 30% malted rye, if you know anything about me and if you've been following the channel since the beginning, my favorite pour of last year was the New Riff Sherry Finished Malted Rye. And I think the 6-year regular malted rye is one of the best things they make. Now, very sadly, I went on a little bit of a bottle kill mission, and I killed my New Riff, my Sherry Finished Rye. It's empty. I've got some backups, but this one's empty. New Riff, make more of this. This is the best thing you've ever made. So on the Silver Grove, it's actually just like this new brand that they rolled out. So they do this every year. So this is the 2023 limited edition. I don't know if the mash bill always contains that malted rye with every limited edition. I've been wanting to see that. But bottled at barrel proof to bring you our first ever blend at full cask strength. We've hand selected barrels distilled in 2019 that amplify our flagship high rye bourbon recipe. And it's interesting how they say flagship high rye bourbon recipe when it's got 30% malted rye. It's not 36% rye on their high rye mash bill. This is different mash bill. But still, exciting special release, only $59.99. One thing about New Riff in this area, anytime they come out with a special release, it is very affordably priced. That's enough talk about the pour. Let's get into this thing. So I'm going to pour this in my little Glen here. I got a Mash and Journey Glen, so cheers to Jason and cheers to Scott. We're going to get into the nose. We're then going to break down the palate and then get into the final scores on where this one's at. So cheers, everybody. Thank you for joining me this far. Oh, man. Oh, it's sweet. It's spicy. I think the interesting thing is the spice part of it. I continue to go back to a note when I smell this, and I actually haven't touched this in like 2 or 3 weeks. I've actually been sick. So from the time that I scored this, that we're gonna get into the scores later, and now going through this tasting, I mean, I'm at a complete reset from a memory standpoint. Yet, I am still getting this cayenne pepper note, but it's balanced with the sweetness note. There's like a powdered sugar, there's like cinnamon sugar going on, like a slight nougat. There's also like a, pastry shell, almost like, a turnover shell, but maybe with like a honey flake to it. Not quite like a baklava because it doesn't have the insides, but maybe like the outsides of a baklava, if that makes sense. But the honey part of it does shine through. And then the other thing I get, and I get this on the malted rye from New Riff as well. And I actually get this from quite a few malted rye products now that I think about it. There's a blood orange. I specifically get blood orange when I'm drinking something with malted rye or when I'm just smelling something here. Also say the profile is it doesn't come across as like oaky, but it comes across as older. It doesn't come across youthful for only being 4 years. New Riff doesn't always come off youthful to me in the first place, but this one in particular I actually think is higher than 4 years. Very good. Love the nose on this one. Let's go in for a taste. Mm. Oh man. All right. Ooh, that's a good first sip. Really good finish. We'll get there. Let's start at the front. I will say it catches me off guard. Once again, it's got a dark presence to it. The initial flavor punch that I get is actually kind of bright and berry forward. But soon thereafter, it does turn dark. That pepperiness shines through. It becomes spicy again. Cinnamon roll sweetness is once again going to be that thing that I'm going to get into the cinnamon sugar with that pastry and the mouthfeel. Mouthfeel's very, very creamy and viscous. Man, just really, really good barrel proof, non chill filtered. Really brings it on the mouthfeel. Mm. I'd say mid palate. It's actually interesting that it comes off the accelerator a little bit. It's probably my least favorite part, but then when it goes into the finish, man, that thing steps on the gas and floors it. But mid palate, I'd almost describe it as I'm gonna go with that blood orange again, but those like dips that people make for parties when they use cream cheese, and then maybe you're scooping graham cracker sticks into it, something like that. It'd be like a blood orange cream cheese filling of some sort. So it's a nice flavor. It's nice and subtle. It's sweet. It's got that orange to it, but doesn't have like a lot of variety going on. It's just that delightful flavor. Ah, then the finish. Man, the finish accelerates. And it keeps accelerating. Even by the time I was done with the word accelerate, it started accelerating again. Super strong finish. That malted rye aspect is really what shines through. The corn's there to balance out the sweetness, but this malted rye punches. And it's got this rich, gosh, just viscous again, vanilla cream and caramel sauce, all of these type of decadent sauces. And then the rye spice really starts punching through. It's really punching me in the back of the throat right now as I'm trying to talk. That cayenne pepper note. I don't think I've ever called anything out having a cayenne pepper note before. I swear this has a cayenne pepper note. There's also a sweet tea element to it. Reminds me a little bit of the cigar rye from Buzzard's Roost when I say that sweet tea note. And then by the end, just about right now, it does get really dark, shifts into this dark chocolate zone. and that creaminess remains. So if you've ever like frothed chocolate milk and then you like kind of drink that froth, maybe even like a melted Frosty from Wendy's, now that I say that, that's almost the sensation I get on the back end. It's very soothing. It's very pleasing. I know my facial reactions might be a bit strange. That's that cayenne pepper note that's just really punching me on the first pour of the day. But I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the burn. Ah, well, as you can tell, I like this one quite a bit. Oh, that chocolate note really hit me on that sip. So let's get into the scores here. So I'll pull these up. Here on the channel, we do break things down in a 3-tier scoring system. Behind the scenes, there's all types of metrics, but just summarize it this way. 40% is based on the flavor. Just how enjoyable is it from the nose, throughout the palate, to the finish. Then the experience score is more of a technical score, more about the mouthfeel, the length of the finish, the complexity of the flavors. And then we got the value score. This is only $60. This is a pretty awesome bottle for $60. I'm still getting the finish here, man. I'm telling you, this finish doesn't stop. Whew. It's always fun when we got something with a really long finish and you're trying to talk through it. So the total score in the end, as you can see that it adds up, is an 83, which is a great pour. We don't have too many things that typically hit in that 80 range. So when we do, stand and take notice. And this has a chance then, maybe, in my top 10 list for the year? I don't know. So keep in mind, this is distillery only. So recommend, I did give this 8 out of 10. I don't think you'll see this in stores. If you do, it might be limited to just Kentucky in itself. If you are in the area around New Riff, go and see if they have any more of these. It has been about a month since I bought this. So sorry for being late on the review, per being sick and busy and all those type of things. But I'm getting word out there now, and it might still be at the distillery. So you have been warned. Now, 8 out of 10. I didn't get a 10 out of 10. I think that malted rye aspect too, that's an acquired taste, I think sometimes. Some people just don't dig when the mash bill is, 35% malted anything. That can be a turnoff for some people. So took the recommend score down just a little bit. You know who you are if you don't like the malted aspects of it. Do I plan to buy another? Man, I got to get to New Riff and get another one of these. So maybe I'll go this week. So before I post this, I'm going to go buy myself a backup. That's how it works sometimes. Whew, man, that finish is still going. I'm telling you, this thing's really good. I'm going to dip one more sip in and then cheers, everybody. Oh, lovely. Thank you for joining today, whiskey friends. That concludes the review for today's Silver Grove. If you've heard of this brand, if you've tried prior year editions, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this one in particular, if you agree with my notes and you agree with the review. But until next time, I'll catch everybody later. Goodbye, whiskey friends.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you